So our today lecture is about recombination of DNA. So the modification of DNA molecule can take place in the living organisms, and this process is the source of the variations produced in the organisms and a basic point for the process of evolution. So our today lecture is about the recombination of DNA. The recombination of DNA is a regular process in all living organisms. Recombination is the production of new DNA molecule or molecules from two parental DNA molecules or different segments of the same DNA molecule. So a new DNA molecule or molecules can be generated from two parental DNA molecules by the process of recombination, or there may be a recombinant molecule. DNA molecule can be generated from the same DNA molecule when different segments of the DNA molecule they are shifted from one place to other place of the same DNA molecule. So in living organisms, naturally four types of recombination are reported, and these four types among them, first one is the generalized or homologous recombination. Second one is the illegitimate or non-homologous recombination. The third one is the site-specific recombination, and the fourth one is the replicative recombination. So now we will discuss these four types one by one. The first one is the homologous recombination. Homologous or generalized recombination occurs between two homologous DNA duplexes during meiosis and can occur at any point along their length. The crossover is the point at which each becomes joined to the other. So this diagram, it clearly illustrates and explains the process of generalized or homologous recombination. The generalized or homologous recombination, it is a routine process during the process of gametes formation in living organisms. In diploid living organism, during the formation of gametes, during the meiosis process, the two homologous chromosomes they come closer to each other. And when the chromosomes they come closer to each other, this is the bivalent formation or the tetrad formation. At this stage, the chromosomes, each homologous chromosome, it is in the form of two chromatids. These two chromatids they are separate from each other along the entire length of chromosome, but they are joined only at a point which is known as a centromere. So the two chromatids of each chromosome they are only joined at the point. This point is known as centromere. At entire length of the the chromosome they are separate from each other. So during this stage, the tetrad stage, the homologous chromosome, they are non-sister chromatids. So this chromatid of the chromosome is the non-sister chromatid with regard to this homologous chromosome chromatid. So the non-sister chromatids they overlap with each other, and this formation is known as chiasma formation. The overlapping of the non-sister chromatids is known as the chiasma formation, and this chiasma formation is the point where the exchange of chromosomal segments or the DNA segments takes place between two non-sister chromatids of the homologous chromosomes. So as a result of this exchange of genetic material, that after the meiosis, after this crossing over, the gametes formed as a result of crossing over, there will be two recombinant gametes and the two non-recombinant gametes. Due to the process of crossing over, the non-sister chromatids have exchanged their segments, and due to this exchange of segments between the non-sister chromatids, two recombinant gametes are formed, and there are two parental or non-recombinant gametes. So the upper one, this one, where is the dominant form of the gene A and the dominant form of the gene B, they are present. These are the parental or non-recombinant gametes. Similarly, this one, where the recessive form of the gene A and the recessive form of the gene B, they are together as in the parent chromosome. This is also the non-recombinant or parental gamete. But these two types, where one is the dominant form of A gene and the recessive form of the B gene, are together, and the second one where the recessive form of the A gene and the dominant form of the B gene are together. These two gametes, capital A and small form of the B, and similarly the lower form of A and the uppercase form of the B gene, these two gametes, they are the recombinant gametes which are formed as a result of the crossing over. So this is the crossing over is the basis for the generalized or homologous recombination. Due to the generalized or homologous recombination, during the gamete formation, the two gametes, they are the recombinant gametes and two are the parental gametes. So this exchange of genetic material between the non-sister chromatid is the basis for the variation which is generated in the next generation of the offspring. And this is the basis for the process of molecular evolution. General recombination or homologous recombination can occur throughout the genome of diploid organisms during gametes formation. So the homologous recombination, it occurs in all diploid organisms during the process of gametes formation. However, the frequency of recombination is not constant throughout the genome. So the frequency of recombination is differs with respect to different segment of the genome of an organism. With regard to the X and Y chromosomes, these X and Y chromosomes in the mammalian, these don't have a very high rate of similarity in their segments. There is only a short region of homology between the mammalian X and Y chromosome. These regions of homology between X and Y chromosomes, these are known as pseudo-autosomal region. So this pseudo-autosomal region, it is the only available region of crossover between the X and Y chromosomes. So with regard to the X and Y chromosome, so with regard to the X and Y chromosome, only in a short region the crossover event takes place, and in this short region of homology, it has 10 times higher rates of crossover per length. So the rate of crossover in the pseudo-autosomal region of X and Y chromosome homology, the rate of crossover is 10 times higher per length than the average for the rest of the genome. So this is region is a very higher, has a higher rate of crossover than the rest of the genome. And the phenomena of crossover interference, this phenomena of crossover interference, it refers to the tendency of a crossover event to reduce the likelihood of another crossover nearby. So in the organism, if a crossover event occurs at a point, this crossover event, it reduces the tendency of another crossover event nearby. So a crossover event in a particular region of the genome, it reduces the likelihood of any other crossover near to it. This phenomena is referred to as crossover interference. Crossovers are rare in or near centromeres. So near the region of the centromere, the crossover are rare. The crossovers are uncommon near telomeres. At the tail of the chromosome, at the ends of the chromosome, the crossover events, they are uncommon, very rare in some species. And these crossovers are generally suppressed in heterochromatic regions. So in the heterochromatic regions, the crossover events they are generally suppressed. Some histone modifications of the chromosomes, they also influence recombination positively or negatively. So some histone modifications, they influence recombination rate positively, and some other histone modifications, they influence recombination negatively. So histone modification, they also influence recombination rate. Recombination occurs twice as frequently in female as in male humans. So with regard to the humans, in males, the tendency of recombination is half as compared to the females. So in the female, the recombination rate is twice compared to the male humans. So next type of recombination is the non-homologous recombination. It is also known as illegitimate recombination. Non-homologous recombination inserts whole donor unit at random location. So non-homologous recombination, it is also known as illegitimate recombination. So in case of non-homologous recombination, a complete segment of DNA is inserted at a random location. So this segment of DNA, it is inserted into between these two segments of the DNA. So in case of the non-homologous recombination, there is the insertion of 4 donor unit at random location. Non-homologous recombination occurs in regions where no large-scale sequence similarity is apparent. So in case of the non-homologous recombination, it only occurs in regions where there is no large-scale sequence similarity, such as during the processes of translocations between different chromosomes or deletions that remove several genes along a chromosome. So during the translocations in which a segment of chromosome is translocated to a different chromosome or to the same chromosome or a different place. So translocation is one form of the non-homologous recombination. Similarly, deletions in which a segment of DNA is removed, this is also non-homologous recombination. So the deletion, they remove several genes along a chromosome. When the DNA sequence at the breakpoints for these events is analyzed, short regions of sequence similarity are found in some cases. So when the DNA sequence at the breakpoint, it is analyzed for its sequence. So it is shown that there is short regions of sequence similarity at this point of the dislocation of the DNA and rejoining regions of the DNA. So short segments of DNA sequence similarity is found in case of the translocations as well as deletions. Recombination between two similar genes that are several million base pair apart can lead to deletion of the intervening gene in somatic cell. So the recombination event which involves two similar genes that are several million base pair apart. So during this recombination event of the similar genes, the intervening genes of the regions are deleted in somatic cells. Then is the third type of the recombination is the site-specific recombination. Site-specific recombination And intermolecular recombination between a circular DNA and a linear DNA results in the insertion of the circular DNA into the linear DNA. So, in the process of site-specific recombination, a circular DNA molecule is inserted into a linear DNA molecule. So, this is known as the site-specific recombination. So this occurs usually the integration of the virus into the bacterial genome. Here is the circular genome. It is inserted between these two regions of the bacterial genome. So this integration, after the integration, the molecule is like this. This the inserted region of the circular DNA molecule first it unwinds, and then this is inserted between these two regions of the bacterial genome. So this is the integration, and this integrated segment of the circular genome, it can be excised, and after the excision, this can also take place the circular form again. Site-specific recombination occurs between particular short sequences about 12 to 24 base pair present or otherwise dissimilar parental molecules. So in case of the site-specific recombination, there are short sequences about 12 to 24 base pairs, and these otherwise in addition to these short sequences, the other segments of the molecule, they are dissimilar uh, between the integrated DNA molecules. Site-specific recombination requires a special enzymatic machinery, basically one enzyme or enzyme system for each particular site. So for the integration of a DNA molecule into another molecule, it requires special enzymatic machinery, and basically one enzyme or enzyme system is required for a particular site. Examples of site-specific recombination are seen in case of the integration of bacteriophage lambda into a bacterial chromosome. So the integration of virus particles into the bacterial genome is the example of the site-specific recombination, especially the bacteriophage lambda. It is integrated into the bacterial chromosome. So the fourth type is the replicative recombination. Replicative recombination generates a new copy of a segment of DNA. Many transposable elements use the process of replicative recombination to generate a new copy of the transposable element at a new location. So the transposable elements, they change their position within the genome, and this process it generates the modified DNA molecule. So this is the process, the replicative recombination. This replicative recombination process is illustrated in this diagram. Here is the replicative recombination involving a transposition event. In this case, a transposable element, it is copied and it is inserted at another point in the same genome. For example, here is a transposable element which is marked in red color between the genes A and B. This transposable element is copied and it is inserted into the genes, into the region between the genes B and C. So the transposase enzyme, it is involved in this process, and the transposable element, it is inserted here. After copying from this side, this transposable element, it is inserted and the region between the genes B and C. So this is the process of the replicative recombination, which involves the transposable elements. So during this transposition process, a modified DNA molecule is generated. So the recombination process, which is the continuous process in living organisms, it has 4 naturally occurring types reported in the organism. The first one is the generalized or homologous recombination. Second one is the illegitimate or non-homologous recombination. Third one is the site-specific recombination, and the fourth one is the replicative recombination.